you check the children? Your little mess
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Horror Show. I'm Cecil Laird.
And Jaime Fuego, yeah.
And we are here to do a fresh movie review for you guys. That is because it is a brand new feature that was, it became available on Hulu last week, but we were just so busy trying to get the Batman done and other stuff that we're only able to get it out to you this Friday. But that's okay. It's still a brand new release, and if you guys haven't caught wind of it yet, I definitely think you need to check it out. And of course, my little joke there was that this movie is called Fresh. And this movie was featured at a film festival, if I'm not mistaken. Fuego, do you remember which one it was?
Yeah, it made its premiere at Sundance, actually.
It was Sundance. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Must have gotten a pretty good reception because Hulu jumped on it, and it is now available for our viewing pleasure. And I'm going to be dropping some trailer bits over this review like we normally do. The reason I bring that up is because there shouldn't be anything terribly spoilery in it, because I watched the trailer ahead of watching, and I didn't really pick up on a ton because I just watched it once and moved on. So anyway, my overall thoughts, starting like usual on this, were it was a very entertaining watch. I was not pleasantly surprised because I didn't have like low expectations. I just didn't really know about it prior to a week before actually, you know, receiving the movie hitting Hulu, and I had a really great time with it. So overall thoughts, I enjoyed the hell out of Fresh. What about you, Fuego?
Yeah, I was super down with this flick, man. And I even said in the group thread, I was like, go in as blind as possible, because I feel like even if you read the synopsis or even look at the poster, so you could start to get that insinuation, presumption sort of situation going down. And it's incredibly entertaining. The director, Mimi Cave, she came from a music video background. So it's a very slick, very well-produced sort of background from her. And yeah, I was incredibly entertained. But, you know, going as blind as possible is what I would double down on. So.
Yeah, and we're going to do our best not to spoil anything in this. So it might be a shorter review, because there's not much to say about the story, but getting into it, I will say that it's about a woman who's unlucky at love, it seems like, and she's just, you know, looking to try and find a partner of some kind. And when she's shopping one day, she happens across this random dude played by Sebastian Stan, who starts chatting her up a little bit, and they strike up a romance, so to speak. They start seeing each other, and they're going to go away together for a weekend, and then the rest of the movie happens. And so I don't want to say anything really beyond that, but I will say that I was entertained for sure. Again, I don't know why my mind keeps wanting me to say pleasantly surprised, but I enjoyed where it went. It did something that we haven't seen specifically done this way before, and I was really entertained by it.
Yeah, it was kind of a skewering of the dating scene, and thankfully I have not, you know, been on the, like, you know, swipe left and right sort of situation in my life. But as the lady friend who watched it with me unfortunately had been, so like she was very much endeared by this film, and I think anybody who has encountered that sort of situation will probably find some major relevance in this without spoiling stuff, because it is like the dark side of that sort of situation, worst possible scenario, so to speak. And in that it was very pronounced and very understanding of some of the sadness of that situation, but also kind of darkly comedic look at it too. So, you know, props for just being very well versed in that sort of approach.
Indeed. So there are some terrific performances in this movie. It's not the hugest cast, which is fine with me. It's really focuses on like 3 or 4 people total, and really realistically just like, I don't want to veer into accidental spoiler territory, but it's not that many people, and everyone does a really great job. The main character does a really great job, her best friend does a really great job, and of course Sebastian Stan does a really great job as well. Everyone really knocking it out of the park, as well as some other bit players that we see along the way. So I thought the acting was phenomenal in this movie.
Yeah, I hadn't seen Daisy Edgar Jones in anything before, but she is our lead who plays Noah, and she's awesome in this film. And also Sebastian Stan, in the fact that there's charm, but yet also kind of a like, what is up with this guy sort of factor without, jumping into stuff. And he really straddled that line awesomely. I had never seen him in this sort of role, and that's probably what took some people aback, and they were surprised because he obviously was a villain in the Winter Soldier, but then had kind of a redemptive arc as that series went on with all the Marvel stuff. So props to our main two, because it's really the two of them, and then Daisy's friend who we talked about, but it is a very small cast, so there's a lot of heavy lifting from Daisy and Sebastian, and I thought they were both terrific. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about the filmmaking, because this director, is this her first feature film?
It's her first feature. So she had done music videos and then a couple shorts, but it's her first full length. So yeah,
phenomenal job, really well done. I mean, it's cool because it's a shining example of almost single location film. I mean, most of it takes place at a single location. The stuff leading up to it, not quite, but it's a really well done movie that has its own limitations as far as being able to go different places, but they do it so well, and she made a really compelling picture. I never got bored in the least. It cruises by, and I was engaged and slightly disgusted at certain times as well.
Indeed, as was I. And she shows her music video background a few times too, because there are some very funny music video-y sequences that have popular songs featured and characters kind of dancing around and everything, and yet there's horrific implications with what they're doing. And that sort of juxtaposition I thought was really amusing in this movie and lent to some of the darkest comedic moments.
Indeed, and quite honestly, some of the camera shots. There's a shot, and you won't understand why this is comedic, but there's just a close-up shot of someone's rear end sitting in a chair, and just the decision to make that shot just makes you kind of like, oh, like darkly kind of, it's again darkly comedic just in its shot choices at times, and so it's really brilliant filmmaking. I really enjoyed how the film was presented. So the cinematography was on point, the music choices were on point, the actual sound design was on point as well. So I don't know, all that stuff jive with you as well?
Oh, most definitely. And I mean, once again, the fact that the craft had been honed with these shorter form sort of bits from Mimi, I think definitely helped her in this sort of process. And music selections as well. Like there's a point in, I think it was like the third act, where they're using a Radiohead song, but I think it was a string reinterpretation, and it set the scene so magnificently. It was like the Vitamin String Quartet or something like that, but just for giving a haunting vibe, I don't know, it helped push the plot forward for anybody who was familiar with the song. So.
And then we do have to mention the effects. There are effects. I don't want to say exactly what kind of effects, but there are definitely effects, practical effects, and it does its job very well. It is not the most fun to look at, but it is, again, presented in an entertaining way.
And there's a revelation about a certain character that we see in the third act where I was trying to figure out if that was like realistic or if it was like a CG enhancement sort of situation or not. But I mean, either way, great for, casting in that situation, or for doing something that was so compellingly done and realistic that I couldn't tell. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So I don't know. All in all, again, we can't talk about a whole lot of this movie because it'd spoil it for you, which spoil contains a whole different connotation with this film as well. So yeah, I'm just gonna say we should leave it there. This film is absolutely worth your time. It's available on Hulu. If you have Hulu, give it a watch. So it's absolutely really fantastic. It's gonna be one of my, well, I don't know, it's early in the year, but so far it's probably my second favorite horror movie of the year.
Yeah, I saw Spooky's review, and she was like giving it similar esteem and praise and stuff. And I've especially seen women really, really loving this movie. That's
I can see why.
That I didn't, but it's got some empowerment stuff going down, man, and I can most definitely champion that. But I was heavily entertained, and it's tough, dancing on eggshells where you don't want to spoil stuff in this regard, but. yeah, I was massively entertained. It was very satisfying. It was a tasty film, if those sort of euphemisms,
So we did receive something from the good people over at Allied. Patrick at Allied said that they were going to send us a fresh package. So I'm going to go ahead and open that real quick. I haven't seen what's inside. I don't know if there's anything spoilery in here, though. So if you want to remain unspoiled, then you might want to click away. But if you don't care, if you can kind of guess what's going on based on what we're saying, then I understand. So, all right, here's what we got. Oh, this is kind of cool. So, starting off with a fresh cutting board. So, there's definitely some cooking sequences in the film. So, let's see. They also gave us a fresh pack that's it's packed like meat. I suppose we're supposed to open this.
I'm curious what's in there.
Before I do that, though, let's see what this is. So, this is also fresh. This is maybe a little spice bowl, a little mixing bowl, something like that.
It's all cooking related.
Yeah, it seems like. And then let's open this thing. This by itself, by the way, is a cold bag, which my girl loves these things. So this is a good sized cold bag. So this, if you take hot food or cold food to like a picnic or whatever, this keeps it that temperature. So this is what all the dashers probably keep in their car when taking food to people.
Oh, and that's what they used to send, like the factor meals and stuff when I was getting those. And
yeah, exactly.
It's cold packed, so.
So inside this, it looks like, oh, cool. So, yeah, it looks like we got a fresh apron as well. So, very on brand and very cooking related. So, there you go. That's cool.
It's so interesting how all of the marketing material for this movie is definitely giving hints as to what this film is about. But
yeah, indeed.
Yeah, which is the best part of the film is when you realize what the twist actually is. But it's not that secretive.
So maybe our boogie boxers are gonna get a couple of special gifts this month. So all right. Thank you very much again to Allied and Patrick. Right. Patrick offered to make sure we got a screener for this, and I was like, I don't know, let me check our schedule. And he's like, okay, just so you know, it had a really great reception at Sundance. And then I looked into it a little more. I was like, oh yeah, okay. And I knew we were going to have a break in one of the weeks for material, so here we go. So guys, go check out Fresh. It's on Hulu. Thank you guys very much for watching. Thank you to all of our patrons for supporting the channel the way that you do. The link to that is in the description box down below if you want to become someone that tells us what to do as far as reviewing movies or doing commentaries, anything along those lines. And finally, guys, go ahead and click and watch another video after this. I'm going to link to 3 different videos at the end of this. Feel free to go check out one of our other reviews recently. We reviewed Studio 666. I don't think YouTube shared that review out to many people, so that's a really good time as well. So just go ahead and check out another one of our episodes. If you wouldn't mind, we'd greatly appreciate it. But until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
And gracias, I've been Jaime Fuego.
And remember, stay scared.